Hey everybody, welcome to CineFix Now. And so much stuff happened literally last night and over the past few days. We couldn't decide what we wanted to talk about, so we brought everybody into the room. We're going to talk about all of it. Starting with Phil. Woo! Phil, go.
Alright, so Disney yesterday had two big announcements. They are doing The Incredibles 2 and Cars 3.
Woo!
Now, Cars 3 makes me think of that YouTube video from a couple months ago, which I think you'll be able to watch them around here, where it was a parody video where someone pitches boats to Disney. Like, we got it, a movie about boats. And now I'm waiting for tractors and trucks to come out as well.
Trains.
Yeah.
But The Incredibles 2, I don't know about you guys, I'm pumped about it because I love The Incredibles so much. I also feel like it's kind of underrated. I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like most people think of Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, and WALL-E first when they think of like the newer Disney Pixar films.
I'm super excited. I love The Incredibles. It's my favorite Pixar movie of all of them. I love it. It's like they basically put the Fantastic Four and did a new sort of spin on it. And Brad Bird is freaking amazing.
The most surprising thing to me is that it took this long to make Incredibles.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
everyone
But that
loves
moves
it.
well, I think.
I mean, they made
that they took their time to sort of figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, they made Cars 2 and Planes before Incredibles, which makes
Well,
no
no,
sense.
no,
And now there's going to be Cars 3, which is just a 90-minute
Was
toy.
it
They didn't make planes. They didn't make planes. They're very specific that Pixar did not make planes. Disney made planes.
You know Lasseter had a special Hawaiian
I'm
shirt
sure,
made
but
just for planes.
I'm sure that Lasseter got like a nice paycheck as a consultant on planes. I am extremely excited because I think that Brad Bird and The Incredibles do what Cars doesn't, which I think is why I don't like Cars, and maybe if I was 5 I would like Cars, which is if you
Not
look
suck.
at not suck. Yeah, yes, they don't suck. They're great kids movies, but they have that like old school Disney quality of having those subtle B stories that are good for adults. I mean, The Incredibles has a storyline about the mother worrying about whether or not the dad is cheating on her, and that it results in the entire
Which it turns out he
climax-
is.
Which
Which
it
is
turns out he
terrible.
kind of is, but it results in the entire climax of the movie.
Right.
But if you're a 6, you can watch that movie and you kind of don't get it. But if you're an adult, you're like, ooh.
But then when your parents get divorced, you go, I get it.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, I understand.
So more or less, Incredibles, yay. Cars,
Eh.
Who cares?
Who
I think
cares?
it's
I'm
great.
not even going to notice that they're going to make it, to be perfectly honest. Mike, what do you got?
Yes, Game of Thrones.
New trailer came out, right?
Yeah, I guess winter is coming. So
Summer is
Seems
really
to be.
Winter's coming in the
this
summer.
April.
apparently, yeah.
Unless
so,
you're in the
It
southern
has to be
hemisphere.
running, though. That's the whole point.
so latest trailer. Everybody's up to their usual shenanigans. It feels like. They're trying to show as little as they can, because if they show any little bit of the dramatic changes that are coming, it would completely spoil. It would be all spoilers. So it has to be like face, side, and then, oh look, I recognize Cersei, I recognize Tyrion. So, and there's a great song. They used London Grammar, a British trip hop band, singing In Excess's Devil Inside. And they're a good band. It's good. Listen to it. Check out London Grammar and have a nap, because it'll
Trip
make
hop?
you. I mean, that's what they call it.
Is that a new thing?
That's been around. But it'll make you sleepy. But yeah, I mean, I guess the main thing, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens this season, because there is so much changing, and I wonder how fans are gonna react to that. The people who don't know what's coming yet.
I don't know what's coming yet.
What is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know the Red
Winter
Wedding was
is.
coming either. And I
Oh.
got mad.
I was one of those people that when I remember reading that, I was one of those people who went like, no! And I was watching it, and I still went, no!
Because I don't know what's coming up in season 4, but watching the trailer, you're like, everybody's talking off camera. There's no
Right.
shot that's left up for more than 35 frames,
Right.
maybe.
You would have to know. You'd have to have read the books to have any clue what's happening, and all that you know is, this is a writer who loves to kill off his characters,
Right.
and he takes pride in that. He loves to just demolish all of his fans' expectations.
He recently came out and said something to the effect of like, it's so adorable that all of these fans think they know, have these amazing predictions of how this book is going to end, the series is going to end. He's like, you guys forgot what kind of books I'm writing, because
Right.
you were all voting for this happy ending I'm sorry, but never gonna
Homie,
come.
don't play
It's
that.
not gonna come.
Exactly. It is a direct quote from George R.R. Martin. This season, people who casually watch the show are completely screwed. Because they're like, what is this? Who are these two guys having this jump around fight in this courtyard? And where is this?
The one thing that I've always said is missing from Games of Thrones, though, is jump around fights.
Jump around
fights.
fights.
Needs more jump around fights. Mackenzie.
If that is indeed your real name.
That is my real name. So they're coming out with the Giver movie.
You
and
already seem really upset about it.
my- They're ruining my childhood. The trailer came out this morning. It doesn't even go along. Okay.
That sums that up.
Right.
Done and
All right,
I guess
first
it's my
of
turn.
all, the book itself is black and white. The trailer is all in color. I don't know if like
You mean the print is in black? I don't know.
you know how in Pleasantville it's like they live in this society where it's all black
Yeah.
and white because everything's pleasant. The premise of The Giver is the man who has all of the memories is dying and he needs to pass on his memories to somebody. So he is the giver, giving on the memories of the world before we created this dystopian society where everything's black and white but it's all pleasant and perfect. So in the trailer we're seeing like these like crazy colors. It looks like the island
It
slash
looks really
Ender's
nice.
Game. It looks really nice. We're seeing like this crazy futuristic stuff where it's like not at all what I remember from the book.
Spaceships and tractor beams.
Exactly. What
Sounds
kind of
rad,
liberties
though.
are we
Sounds
going
Sounds real.
Sounds like they.
This has been like a long time coming, right?
15 years
Yeah.
in the making.
Yeah.
People have been asking for this movie for
Yeah.
a long, long time.
Me,
And-
Taylor Swift is in my movie. It just
How dare you?
I went through a crazy like dystopian society phase after reading The Giver. I read 1984. I read Ray Bradbury signed my
I
Fahrenheit
can see
451.
her sitting in Beverly Hills in a bikini, reading this dystopian novels. Oh, how very bleak and drab. She sips her lemonade.
I read this book when I was
Crying.
like 7 or 8. I mean, I don't remember it that well. I remember it being like a lo-fi Children of Men, right, where he like finds a baby and has to escape with the baby. Maybe they've taken some of that thematic structure and updated it, kind of like some of the good things about the RoboCop remake, right?
I was hoping you would
Thematically, if
I
you
liked
can
it.
update it.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah?
I liked it.
Thematically, if you can update it and make it more relevant for audiences like that, that makes sense. I don't begrudge them for doing that.
That being said, it doesn't look good.
It looks fine. What it looks like is every other bit of young adult sort of
Exactly.
dystopian
Yeah.
sci-fi
Yeah.
that's out there right now. If it took 15 years, it makes sense that now all of a sudden they can make that movie because that's what's in theaters.
I feel sorry for like the 12th studio that makes a stupid Hunger Games ripoff and
Poor
doesn't make
Walden Media.
$2 and goes, what went wrong?
I don't understand.
You mean Divergent?
What's up, Dave?
All right, there's a whole bunch of cool Marvel stuff that just came out. They did a whole big special where they pat themselves on the back and we're
Prime Time
awesome,
Network
high
special.
fiving everywhere. But basically, some of the cool stuff they showcase this great sort of picture that they're planning on making for Avengers 2, which is going to be the Hulk versus Iron Man in Hulkbuster armor. This is crazy. I'm super excited about this. Now, when we saw the Iron Man 3
Real
trailer...
quick, any other geeks at the table that are really excited? It's just two.
I mean, it's
Just-
I mean,
Just-
I like that.
Look, when you hear
I don't know what that
Hulkbuster,
is.
you should be excited.
Yeah.
You know who the Hulk is, and you know busting stuff is cool. And the ability to bust said Hulk is super cool. It's really cool. In the comic
Wow.
books, the Hulkbuster armor lets him basically be able to lift 175 tons, and he also has like a gamma detector, so he can like find the Hulk like behind walls and stuff like that. So it's specifically designed to fight the Hulk. Actually, Tony Stark has armors that are specifically designed to fight every one of the Avengers. He's like how Batman always has, like, you know, just in case someone in the Justice League gets taken over, he can stop them. Tony Stark's the same way.
Just in case you go bad guy.
Exactly, because it always happens inevitably, right?
But
and they
who
also
would stop Tony Stark if he
Indeed.
went bad?
Coast
well
Guard.
Yeah,
in
booze,
Civil
that's
War.
it.
Yeah. Alcoholism, his
Yeah,
liver.
exactly.
His liver.
Exactly. Whiskey.
What a
exactly.
man versus self kind of situation.
In Civil War, Thor beat the crap out of Tony Stark because Tony Stark like made a clone of him or whatever. So I think Thor can handle that. But also they showcase a look for Quicksilver. They showcase a look for Scarlet Witch. I'm so super psyched though because Quicksilver. First off, they already have a win because Quicksilver actually looks at least a little bit like what he looks like in the comic books, unlike X-Men Days of Future Past,
X-Men Days of
I don't know
Future
what that
Past.
is. Yeah,
He's like a 70s, early 80s like glam rocker.
Yeah.
He's got silver. He's got Halle Berry storm hair. He's got a full silver like Canadian tuxedo, and
He feels like a guy that wouldn't have been tough enough to go to the Whiskey A Go Go back in like 1980.
Right,
Something
yeah.
like that.
right. Like I want to see him in like Saturday Night Fever.
Right.
Like going like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
that-
fast.
That movie is set in the 70s.
Yep.
So,
it's perfect.
I know, but
I
he,
mean,
the
it might
thing-
make
So
sense.
he's fashion forward.
He's
in the movie.
yeah.
If you think about it
he's
that
so,
way.
He's so.
Just in defense of Quicksilver, because he's not here to defend himself.
He wouldn't want to,
I mean,
even if he was
looks,
here.
He does kind of look like a punk rock kid from the time period. That's sort of the danger of releasing as many images as X-Men has released, is like you get all of it out of context, and like in the film, maybe it'll make more sense.
That's
when we
true.
see
Oh
it.
God,
true.
I hope so. The thing is, though, honestly, it's like we nerds love superheroes because they're cool. We don't want our superheroes necessarily to look like nerds. He looks like a nerdy kid who like just grabbed a bunch of stuff from like Home Depot.
I'll be
He's
a
spray
superhero.
painted a jacket purple. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna save the day. He's got like remember like in Wayne's World, Garth had like a utility belt with like a zapper. He looks like that. Well, it's really cool though because Joss Whedon said he wanted Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in because all the Avengers have punchy powers.
Right.
And he wants people with other powers because of course Quicksilver's like the Flash, and Scarlet Witch is pretty much the most powerful person in the Marvel universe.
And she looks awesome. The
Yeah.
concept art for her is really cool.
Yeah, they went totally see, that's a good. That's actually a great example. So X-Men, Days of Future Past, Quicksilver, completely ridiculous. Goes way off with what they did in the comic book. Scarlet Witch also goes way off, but it's in a way that makes sense. When you look at her comic book outfit, it's too outrageous for any kind of movie.
Flooding.
It's just it's like it works for cosplay, but not really like in any real world capacity. So I think they went the right way with
Lacey,
that
I think you
work.
need to trademark punchy powers, by the way.
I think sadly Joss Whedon said that.
Between
Maybe I
punchy
can
powers and jumpy fights, I think we go.
Be the top of the episode.
So Avengers, Marvel seems to be in the lead
Oh yeah.
with the look of their superheroes.
Joss
That
Whedon's
being
the
said,
best.
I'm still excited for X-Men Days of Future
It's gonna be
Past.
great.
It's still
Yeah.
I still believe in it. I have really strong hopes that it's going to be amazing.
It's like
Singer
the
still owes us one after
Yes.
Superman,
And
he probably owes us two after Jack the Giant Slayer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So the thing that happened last night that has me really excited is the first real trailer for Maleficent. I've been seeing the teasers. I'm sure all you guys have the posters, all that kind of stuff, and mostly it's just Angelina Jolie has completely stopped eating because her cheekbones are popping.
Those are things.
And her
Process,
makeup is on point.
Yeah.
And she's super evil, but in this new trailer, they kind of give Maleficent a little bit of a backstory, which I would have to imagine is necessary. You have to make the main character feel justified in their actions, because this is a movie where we have an anti-hero. She's crazy evil, and even in the animated Cinderella growing up, Maleficent freaked me out. She was terrifying. I think that it was a lot darker than Disney has ever been since in terms of their villains in a lot of ways. She wasn't singing songs like Ursula and being kind of funny. Maleficent is just straight up terrifying. And I think they're nailing it with this Angelina Jolie thing. And in the new trailer, it's she was a fairy or something.
Yeah.
And they took her wings away.
Scary wings, right?
Yeah, they took her wings away. So she's sort of avenging wrongs done to her in the past. And it looks really friggin' awesome.
It seems like Wicked to me, where you're getting the other side of the story.
A little bit.
Well, there's
Yeah.
that aspect, and there's the other thing that's happening is all of the original fairy tales and things like that. They used to be really really dark.
Yeah.
All the originals we were just talking
Yeah,
about
we
this
were
yesterday.
talking
Yeah,
about
it's the originals were dark and scary, and then they went to this happy Disneyland place, but
which is fine.
Yeah, which is a
But it's
whole
a
other
totally
thing
separate
altogether.
thing.
But then we're coming back, and we're getting we're trying to understand our villains.
Yeah.
And I'm more
So-
excited about understanding Maleficent than I am about this is a dark and gritty version of Sleeping Beauty.
Right.
Right.
I don't give a that she's 16. She was cursed before she was born.
Right.
She doesn't have a backstory. She's not that interesting.
And
right?
just watch the OG
Just
animated
wa-
Sleeping
yeah.
Beauty because it's great.
And in the OG animated Sleeping Beauty, the hero isn't Sleeping Beauty or the prince. It's the three little old ladies. And the 3 little old lady fairies are, even though they're the heroes, they're kind of annoying as fuck. So in the new trailer when Maleficent slams them into a box, I'm like, yes, shove them in there.
Isn't like in the original story, doesn't she like curse the whole kingdom because she wasn't invited to the party?
Yeah,
And
that was her
just
entire
like-
motivation.
So capricious.
It was like
Yeah.
like you guys had a wedding and you didn't invite me, so fuck you. It was,
Girls, am I right?
Girls.
So yeah, long story short, it looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Hopefully
Yeah.
there's going to be jumpy fights.
Yeah.
Cruz, what do we got?
Maze Runner looks amazing to me. Yes, it's another one of these dystopian futures full of young, beautiful people running from scary movies. I get it.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
That being I think the Hunger Games found its voice with the second movie. It was a really good version of it. I don't have high hopes for Divergent because everybody that's in it is a good actor and it looks like they're acting badly. But maybe it'll be good. I kind of have high hopes for The Giver. Maybe I don't. I just want it to work. Maybe it won't, but I hope it does. But this one of the 3 coming out of Divergent, the Divergent series, The Giver, and Maze Runner, this one to me looks like it's really loyal to the books in all of the good ways, but moviefies it in ways that are still loyal to that story, but make it better.
I'm most interested in the Maze Runner
Yes.
of those 3. And
And
granted, that's because I'm a dude and I'm not like, because Divergent, as far as I can tell, is like another story about a girl having to choose between 2 guys that are both just fine. Because that seems to happen in all the books, right?
But I think it looks exciting. I think the acting looks really good. I think the guy from Teen Wolf does an amazing job in just that little segment. All the kids are great.
You kind of discredit him by saying the guy from Teen
guy.
Wolf.
He is the guy from Teen Wolf. I don't really know
the
his
Teen
name.
Wolf. The YA things seem to be they just seem to be so hit and miss because there's that Mortal Instruments thing that just came in with it.
Yeah.
So it's like
The host-
Hunger
the
Games,
host disappeared and
Hunger
nobody
Games had
watched
to do
it.
2 movies before they
I
really
watched
found their
it.
voice.
What I like about the Maze Runner is, from what I can gather about it, is it looks like not these like glossy like what they're doing with The Giver and what they did with Ender's Game. It looks like those post-apocalyptic movies from the 80s, like Mad Max and all that. Seems to be like a desolate wasteland that they live in, and like so there's a reason, like because all these other post-apocalyptic like dystopian futures, they're always like in these lush countries. It's like, is that really gonna cause
Never happens.
dystopia?
It's gonna be compared to the Hunger Games for better or
Of
worse.
course.
So I mean, we'll see how it does. Truly.
Deadline is announcing that Sony is looking at an early 2015 start for Ghostbusters 3. Ivan Reitman has stepped down as a director after Harold Ramis passed away, and he has confirmed that there is a script that he believes is very good and that the studio is very happy with, that has the original Ghostbusters, or what's left of them, in very minor roles, and they're putting together a short list of directors that they're going to go out to, and my hope is that Lord and Miller are on there.
Well,
they did a great job with the Lego movie.
I mean, if anybody's got to do Ghostbusters, I would hope that it would be Lord Miller.
Yeah, some of the names that other people are throwing out are just disgusting. Like, I love Todd Phillips movies, but a Todd Phillips
Ghostbusters,
I have no interest in it.
You
And
gotta have
part of me wants to see them ruin it, just so that we can push that past it and get a new franchise going.
You just got to have somebody that genuinely reveres the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
The second Ghostbusters they have to at least like, but they need to revere the first Ghostbusters for it to actually work. Like, and Ivan Reitman stepping down, I don't even mind because of evolution and was it my super ex
I liked Evolution, too.
Evolution had its moments, but I mean, yeah.
It was a great Head and Shoulders commercial.
It was.
Really good.
Yeah,
But
he's
like,
still going to
it's the
produce,
fact,
so.
yeah, but it's more the fact that we'd probably be missing Bill Murray because he's not going to do it. Obviously, we're going to be missing Harold Ramis. So it's like a Ghostbusters movie with just Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson.
Well, but there is that scene where they are basically playing buddy cops in the first one.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. They're just like
That's true.
isolated, and they had a good chemistry. So
You read the
building,
Bible?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Building off that relationship, it could become a good third act.
It went like the conversation of it overnight went from Ghostbusters 3 to Ghostbusters reboot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
All I know
Which
is
is tough.
if
I
there
mean-
is a holy ground to
Yeah.
tread on Comedy-wise, it's Ghostbusters. So they have to be very careful with what they're doing
It's
and how they do it.
of the few people in the world that ever played the video game where they all reprised their characters.
I love that.
It was amazing. It was a fantastic cinematic experience. It's a terrible game,
I mean-
but it was a great revisit to the whole franchise and an update to the story and making it modern.
The problem is because they don't have any of the original, or as many of the original
Right.
parts as is ideal, they can literally go anywhere.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the problem,
that's
too.
But also potentially, if they get the right people, a stepping stone to do something awesome.
Yeah.
To
If it's
really bring Ghostbusters to a new generation in a good way, like Lord Miller could do.
If it's great and they do it right, I can't wait. But man, I'm scared.
it's scary. And then
All
how
right.
are you going to deal with Jack Black being a character? 'Cause it's
Oh,
obviously
not well.
shoehorned.
Not
in there,
well.
so.
All right, well, that was a whole lot of stuff. Let us know what you think about it down in the comments below. And come back next time for more movie news on CineFix Now.
Yay!
Subscribe.